Greetings, denizens of the tri-state area. Jacob Weil here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
And Dragon, I know what we're gonna do today. We're gonna activate the Recap-inator and discuss my favorite cartoon, Phineas and Ferb. That's right in honor of the 15th anniversary and in preparation for the upcoming revival. Actually, the revival that's now upon us. I'm guiding Blue Dragon 5 here through the series, experiencing his reactions, watching it for the first time, and reliving my summer memories through the years. Today's episode is Act Your Age. We get a little glimpse into the future. The Dragon, what do you think of Act Your Age? The final 22-minute episode of the original run.
Thought this was a fantastic episode. That could have been an ending. It kind of is. It's kind of all in this way. It's kind of like epilogue from JLU, from Justice League Unlimited. It's a little feels a little like that in terms of it's not an episode that's necessarily the end of Phineas and Ferb, but it definitely feels like kind of very much kind of for the fans, kind of like kind of lingering kind of questions like what the future looks like, kind of what the very end of the universe of the show's universe might look like.
Yeah, I mean, I personally agree. Like it is an interesting look at the way how how the show would end in the future, and all that. The epilogue episode is actually a very good comparison. And Dan did explicitly mention that it is kind of like an emotional finale to because it was obviously at this point they didn't know if they were coming for future seasons, so they kind of wanted to explore an episode that took place in the future, and kind of wrap this whole thing up, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Before I move into a little bit of background, we have some comments. Kogia saying hi and saying Actor Age is easily the best episode for Phineas. And in my opinion, it's arguably the only episode where he actually has any character development. It is kind of true.
Mm-hmm.
So I take Kansas Against the Universe, and the next season will be next. Obviously, the Recap-inator isn't over. Well, Kansas Against the Universe is kind of in a gray area, and actually, we still have Last Day of Summer to cover first. But unless Dragon and I decide otherwise, we're planning on jumping into season 5 after Last Day of Summer. Dragon?
Well, I'm not going to say otherwise now. I don't know yet.
I'm just saying, do you agree?
I agree. That's kind of where we're at right now. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, a little bit of I have a bit of brief background. Like this episode, actually, for this episode, Dan and Swampy actually hired an outside artist to design the teenage characters in this show for this episode. Like at a convention, at one of the Comic Cons, Dan and Swampy an artist by the name of Ashley Simpson, who also has the DeviantArt account Kickster Ash, to show them a bit of artwork of Phineas and Ferb as teenagers, and Dan and Swampy really, really liked it. And so what happened was, it's like when they were making an episode that took place in the future, they remembered this, and Dan specifically created a DeviantArt account to reach out to her, and so they could bring her on to do this episode. And she grew up as a fan of this. She didn't watch a lot of cartoons, but this one resonated with her and her family. And so, when the time came, they brought her on to do the designs. And the nice and the neat thing is, like, she's enjoyed a steady career as a storyboard artist, working on shows like Dan and Swampy's next show, Milo Murphy's Law, and even the Paul Rudish Mickey Mouse cartoons. So yeah, she is credited in this episode as an additional character designer. So it's pretty neat.
Yep.
All right. And a little bit of a fun fact: this episode, Dan didn't want this episode to air outside the United States. They wanted to air here first. Unfortunately, Disney Channel Russia didn't get the memo, and they aired it first, and it broke the internet.
Wait. So, hit me with that one more time.
It aired. Dan wanted it to air in the United States first. but apparently Disney Channel Russia or whatever, or I believe it was Russia, yeah, didn't get the memo.
Hmm.
And they aired it before and basically spoiled everything.
Hmm.
Yeah. That's pretty much all I've got on the background here.
All right.
So
That's it.
that's pretty much it. Not much else from background is known.
All right.
All right, so the episode begins with Dan and Swampy.
Yeah, so we have Dan and Swampy in live action, answering fan mail.
Yes, here you go.
Jacob, I think we should address them.
All right, I'll keep this image up, but
Yeah.
I said I'll keep this image up, and here you go.
Dan, Swampy, why didn't you tell us that we had this image? Because we could have directed all of our our quibbles and everything through via fan mail to this image right now instead of using just the funny, albeit, I mean, mind you, it was really good seeing like you kind of like the little space that Dan Swampy kind of inhabited, but we could have like directly kind of mailed our complaints to them.
Yep. And Dragon, this is what Swampy looks like after we complained.
Yep. It's like when I say, Swampy, stop crying. That's exactly what it looks like.
After this, Dan just awkwardly walks away.
Yep. Anyway, back to the other one.
You mean this one?
Yeah. Just again, Dan, Swampy, were you gonna let anyone else be in the show? Did you really have to put yourselves in the epilogue? Really? Yes. Oh, the self-adulation in this room right here. I had to have there's even a prop, Jacob. Look at that. Look at that set dressing. Look at it's a foam and fiberglass. Look at that.
All that. They basically. Hank is like, hey, look at all the fan mail we got.
This budget that could have gone towards the animation that they've used for their own egos. Look at that.
Yep. Oh,
yep.
for sure. All right.
Anyway, but no. In all seriousness, this was great. I love the answering fan mail component. It feels very.
Sorry.
I love the answering fan mail component. It feels very Family Guy, like the viewer mail episode of Family Guy, where they took kind of like. I don't know if they're actual real submissions or not. I
think it might have been just like a framing device as an excuse to do these out of wall plots.
I believe so. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. So feels very much kind of like in line with that.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Of course, with the Dan and Swampy humor here, we have like the great call out about the nowadays it's email and it's all contained on this flash drive.
Yep.
And this is just a prop behind this, not actual fan mail.
Yeah.
But they do occasionally get the real written stuff. Do you think that's true, or do you think that's just for like the whole day prop?
I mean, it's probably a little bit of both. I mean, I think they might. I don't know what the policy is regarding actual physical letters and all that. And for all I know, I don't even know if they're like public in their work emails or even private or even public information.
I'm not. They're not directly emailing them. They're emailing maybe a forum or something. I don't know, but what I mean is, Jacob. So the episode in total, though, I mean, this is like. Do you think it's like an actual question fans have asked them? Like they might have mailed them, like asking, like, "Hey, what's the what would it look like in the future?"
I mean, there actually were people for a long time wondering what they would look like as teenagers or what it would be like, and they never actually explicitly said anything about that, but obviously they decided to do it for this episode. And the whole Perry having a girlfriend thing is like something that they were asked not just by fans but also by Disney, as we've discussed previously.
Yeah, so with that in mind, I do love it's very self-referential towards the end there, where it's like, okay, it's kind of the inside joke, with the Perry the Platypus question, and the other one being like, well, it's a realistic question. People want to know, like, what's the future look like for these characters? And again, it's a really clever idea overall, because again, like you said, you never know when you're gonna get canceled or you're gonna end the show, so you want to give people some satisfying kind of like glimpse into what the future looks like.
Yep, and keep in mind they didn't know they'd be doing another Phineas and Ferb season for 8 more years, and because that's when the fifth and sixth seasons were announced.
I had no idea. Otherwise, I think Bob Meyer might have updated his ID sooner.
Yeah, I sent you that. You watched that those two videos I sent you.
Yeah.
So we'll probably get to both of those later on.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so yes, we are. So we're gonna show you what it's like 10 years from the show.
Yep. And so we see adult Phineas, not adult, but teenage Phineas and Ferb is still in their room. Not much has changed in their room in the 10 years.
No, they were very ahead of their time.
Except Ferb's slightly more talkative this episode.
Yeah. Well, it was a phase. He grew out of it.
Yep. And they probably just wanted to give like Thomas Sangster more time to have more lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, very, very, very limited dialogue.
Limited, but definitely talks more.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, every college wants Phineas.
Yeah, I mean, can you blame them?
Yeah.
It's like, so they're trying to figure out. So they're trying to figure out where to go. Ferb's like in the booth.
So I allow nostalgia for this booth. This is like the old money machine game that they would have at like functions and stuff, and you put everyone in there, and it's like you put somebody in the booth. Air shoots money, usually shoots like money around or something. It was like this.
Oh yeah.
It's a fun thing. So it took me back.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And so it's like the first one he gets is the one in Norway. Comedy traffic school.
So basically, it's kind of it's not a reverse psychology thing, but it's kind of like, okay, I'm going to present you with options, and you're going to naturally weed out the ones that you really don't want.
Yes.
So that boils down to Tri-State State and Danville U.
Yep. And he's still trying to make his decision. And then we get to see Baljeet come in.
Yep. Sure, some people make comparisons to Rugrats all grown up with this episode.
Yeah, but I think this probably fares a bit better with that.
Well, yeah. Basically, this is what All Grown Up just should have been. All Grown Up should have been just that pilot, not actually a show.
Yeah.
Because it was a fun novelty, but then doing a whole show like that is like, oh man,
loses the Rugrats charm.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, okay, for 10 years, like going forward, that's kind of a neat idea, or 10 plus years, I guess. But still, just there's an idea. It's something nice for an anniversary or like a milestone for the Rugrats, and then you have basically what you have here with Phineas and Ferb. It's like, okay, it's like the stuff we never really need to see. It defeats the whole purpose of the Rugrats. And it's just gonna keep going on. It's like Rugrats thinking it's Batman Beyond or something. It's like, no, you're not.
That's an interesting comparison.
Yeah.
All right, so apparently Baljeet has already graduated and is becoming a professor, and Buford's going to film school. Like the story of a struggling orphan's transcendental search for meeting in a post-apocalyptic society.
Basically, Buford grew up to be Christopher Nolan.
It's like, it sounds pretentious. Thank you.
Exactly.
Dan and Swampy. I don't know if that's like an intentional jab at like overly pretentious indie films, but it could be kind of read as one.
Pretty sure, but I mean, also again, I don't know. It's like, yeah, get a Nolan vibe on Buford. It's not an insult to Christopher Nolan, but let's face it, Nolan, Tenet being a prime example, there is his pretentious moments.
Yeah, and then that's also led to him breaking his thing with Warner Brothers.
Yeah, that's the thing. Tenet
It's
was not Nolan's shining accomplishment.
like no, and then like Warner Brothers decided to release it on Max because it was in the middle of a pandemic.
Yep.
Basically, said like, nope, I'm going to Universal now.
Yep. But I mean, to be fair, Nolan could always fall back when like pretty much all the other movies are fantastic. So it's just like Tenet's like the one stinker. It's
And the fact that Oppenheimer basically did actually win Best Picture.
yeah,
So
yeah. So it all evened out.
yep. And now he's doing an adaptation of The Odyssey.
Yeah, which from what I'm hearing, people are saying it's like the best thing ever. So I'm looking forward to seeing it.
I mean, speaking of which, Dragon, I've actually just recently finished this thing called Epic the Musical. It's like a sung through adaptation of the Odyssey. It's actually really cool.
Oh,
Yeah, I suggest you kind of look into it.
the real question is, can Damon hum a few bars?
Well, who knows?
Anyway,
Yeah.
so Baljeet and Buford, they enter. Buford's kind of like Christopher Nolan with a sandwich.
Yep.
Let's see. So Ferb got into Oxbury,
Camford on Oxbury.
which
Yeah.
is a wizard school.
There's no wizarding. It's not a wizarding school, but there is some wizarding. Like, so he's not denying that there is some wizarding there.
Candace got into law school, and she's doing pretty well for herself.
Of course she did. It's like, of course she did. It's like, basically trying to do it like that's how to convict people without evidence, kind of like. And that concludes my dissertation on modern investigative techniques for establishing proof of guilt with or without evidence. And apparently, she's doing quite well for herself.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we don't get to see like Candace's kids at this point, which I think they would already technically be born at this point, or at least Amanda would be.
Well, actually, that's the question. I think that's further in the future. So yeah, she's
I know it. She's at least kind of implied based on the ages shown in this episode. But who knows? It's not really that important anyway.
Well, Candace's design looked kind of different. Like she had more of a chin.
Yeah, she's still growing.
Yeah.
She's 25 now.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Anyway.
It's like, so next up, we get to see the future of Alka.
Yeah, so we have animated Jacob.
Yep.
All grown up.
Yep, that's me. I didn't. You want me to get the picture, Dragon?
I mean, you can if you must.
I don't have it. I didn't download it, so.
Oh.
I didn't download it yet, so if you want.
Oh, it's nothing really special. I mean, if you want to show the folks what animated you looks like, growing up, you can.
All right, if you say so.
A little. Anyway. So, animated Jacob, basically the grown-up Irving. He's basically the new Carl.
Yep, and
as I feel, Jacob, you've become Carl.
I went from Irving to Carl.
Yeah. Oh God! Look, go with fire.
Yeah.
Oh wait. Oh, hey, buddy, there you are, holding the phone.
Yep. Yep, there I am.
Jacob when he's on a call.
Yep, there I am.
Yep.
And and Monogram is the new Carl. I mean, and Carl is the new Monogram, basically. Yep. And because
Carl with the mustache is great. I love that we maintain that from the Alka, from the well, not the Alka. Well, like the
last day of summer.
No, not that one. I'm saying earlier.
Save Summer.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah, that one.
Anyway, so it's like so. And unfortunately, Monogram's gone to a better place. Bora Bora.
Killed him.
Bora Bora.
Well, they killed him with heat.
Yes. So Monogram's enjoying his retirement in Bora Bora.
Yep.
It's nice to see Monogram actually relax for a change.
Yeah. So the reason we're seeing Alka right now is the inator alert went off and hasn't gone off in years.
Yep, so Perry, who also seems to be enjoying his retirement. He thinks it's bowling night.
Love that. I love the idea of bowling night. With Alka and Doofenshmirtz. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing: like it turns out the tropical vacation is just on top of the old tree, and he when he goes to see Doof, and Dragon, so where is he this time? Where is Doof? And
Let's see. Say that Doofenshmirtz Incorporated.
Incorporated.
Doesn't quite have the same ring to it.
Nope, no, it
We,
does not.
we need the evil, kids. We need some evil in this world.
It's like if it's the rhythm better, doesn't it? It has a better rhythm.
Yeah, without evil, we have no rhythm.
Or you can say we ain't got rhythm.
Yeah, that's what the Angry Parents group said about jazz.
We ain't got rhythm. No, we ain't got rhythm. You remember
Yeah, don't got rhythm.
the song from Dude, We're Getting the Band Back Together?
Oh, right, that one. Sorry, I was going with the Muppets on that one.
Nope, I was going with the song from this show.
No, you're right. That was the better pull. I'm just throwing it out there. I was talking about Fozzie Bear's failing at the song. I've got rhythm.
Yep. I don't remember
I
that
don't got rhythm.
one. That song is nominated for an Emmy Award, by the way.
I don't got rhythm.
The Phineas and Ferb one was nominated for an Emmy Award.
Oh, well, okay.
All right.
Doofenshmirtz Good Incorporated. Nah.
Well, the funny thing is, we actually do hear that eventually.
Oh.
And it's not. Don't worry. It's a separate thing. It's not in the 5th season.
Okay.
Good. Well, actually, I wouldn't. Maybe it is. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Doofenshmirtz Ferb shaped building.
There you go. There's something. Let's go with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah. So.
All right. So we have so the Inator
In question, Doofenshmirtz. It looks like this big evil machine, but what actually is a dragon?
Well, it's basically just charging a very, very casual. It's barely an Inator. It's kind of an Inator in kind of look only. So Doofenshmirtz has the midlife crisis Inator necklace, or inated necklace, maybe in the past tense. The point being, he used like some of the supercharge this necklace that is designed to give him a midlife crisis because he's in his 50s now. And he's very content, and he is in need of a midlife crisis, as he explains in song.
Yeah, he wants a midlife crisis.
Yes, which is hysterical. Oh god, he wants a midlife crisis because he's too happy.
Yeah, it's not an evil plot this episode either. It's just like he just wants to be reckless and have fun.
Love it.
Yep. Talking about all.
I love that it almost killed him too. Where Perry's like coming in with the shock paddles, and he's like, "Okay, I'm reinvigorated."
Like, yeah, Doof almost died.
Yep.
Multiple times in this episode, actually.
Well, that's accurate. Yeah. Also, I love the kazoo solo during the midlife crisis.
I'm sure that reminded you of Batman.
Well, yes, Jacob, it did. What scene from Batman did it remind me of, huh?
Oh, you're trying to quiz me, huh?
Yes.
Batman's funeral, where Harley Quinn played the kazoo.
What is the episode's name?
The Man Who Killed Batman.
Good.
And the guy who supposedly killed him, Sid the Squid.
Yes.
Voiced by Matt Frewer.
Ah, there you go.
And it all had to be done in one take because the crew couldn't contain their laughter.
Bingo. All right, he aced it, kids.
Yeah.
He knows a thing or two, and that's number 2.
Yes. The other one is just a thing.
Yeah. He knows everything about Thing from the Addams Family. Knows everything about that character, no matter what permutation.
Yes. Exactly.
Yep. Okay. Anyway, so what's going on with so what is our main plot with Phineas here?
So, in the kitchen, while they're all like having lunch together. Like they're talking about like how Isabella got going to her college, and Phineas is like, I'm in the friend zone with her, huh?
They're all like kind of in shock. Like, what do you mean the friend zone?
Yeah, they're like, are you serious, Phineas?
They realize like, oh my god, it must be Rain Man. He really doesn't get it. He's in so advanced in all these other things, but he's tone deaf to it. He's either that or he's just that stupid.
I was like, you came up for 11 years just to see what you were doing. Her eyes actually formed little hearts.
I love that one. I love this Baljeet pointing out it's impossible for that to happen.
Like, keep in mind, we're the only time we actually see it, which is the first episode. Baljeet wasn't in there yet.
That's a good point.
But he might have happened another time for all we know.
Well, it probably was a regular thing.
Yep. Dang it, Phineas.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we don't have as many animated Phineases to work with.
No, we don't. We have live action ones, but not animated.
Well, what live action Phineas are you familiar with?
Phineas Fogg.
Oh, isn't it Phileas Fogg?
My point's withdrawn.
No, I'm being serious. Isn't it Phileas?
I honestly can't remember. I thought it was Phineas, but maybe it is Phileas. It's probably Phileas.
You're talking about the protagonist of Around the World.
Yeah, that's the one. I think you're right. It's probably Phileas.
It is Phileas.
There you go.
There you go.
All right. Well, again, never mind then. There's no other Phineases.
Still a good. The one with Jackie Chan is actually pretty underrated.
I really like that one.
Yeah, me too. One of the few times that Jackie Chan was in a Disney movie, funnily enough.
Admittedly, that Schwarzenegger scene's still pretty weird. That and the nipple guy on the boat.
Is that in Around the World in 80 Days?
Yes, that's Around the World in 80 Days. Arnold Schwarzenegger's in that movie in a cameo. He's kind of strange. And then we have the later on they're on the boat and it's like I like that movie. I think there's two really. It's that we have the guy who the implication is that I believe sharks ate his nipples, and it's just such a weird choice.
Again, I haven't seen that particular movie in many years.
I still love it's Jackie I remember his fake name. I don't remember what the character's real name was, but I believe it was Ponton.
Huh.
He was so I like the dynamic that he had with Phileas. Yeah, he really kind of there was a friendship there, and he really he kind of admired him what he was doing. It was just kind of nice. Right. We had Jackie Chan in the rig where he was was a test subject so he could avoid capture, and he was being rocketed around like a little mini roller coaster track. It was a great entrance.
Yep. But we have animal Phineas in this show. Also, it's Phileas. I think that was before we got.
Yeah.
But yeah, Phineas is side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not the same ring as platypuses, people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Anyways, they all spell out the Phineas. You goober, don't you realize the girl likes you? She's always liked you, and she's about to move away.
It's like, I'm sorry, I feel like my brain is broken. I'm gonna go take a walk. See you guys. Meanwhile, Baljeet's like, it's not too late. We should try to get them together. Yeah, all right.
I love before that too. It's like, well, why didn't anyone tell me? We're guys. We don't talk about feelings.
But did you see the new car Irving got?
Yeah, Jacob, tell everyone about your animated vehicle.
It's it's not a very up to date car because it's like obviously if I'm in Carl's position, it's the unpaid intern area, so I kind of have to be stingy with the kind of car I get.
Does your car have giant glasses on it?
Yes.
Yeah.
On the top of the vehicle, obviously, because it would interfere with the windshield wiper.
Well, yeah, but you could have the windshield wipers on top of the glasses.
I mean, the windshield itself, I mean.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I kind of like a Dick Sprang style glasses on top of my car.
Yeah, there you go.
So they know it's like, oh God, here he comes.
Yep. Why is it crying?
Jade
I
wagon.
had a hard day.
Yep, see?
Yep. Or they'll go here and be like, Swampy's driving, that's why. See, Swampy secretly he's the Batman villain. The one, well, I guess he's. I forget if he's actually specifically. He's the old DC villain, the Weeper. I just realized
Okay,
I don't
then.
think the Weeper's technically. I don't know if the Weeper's technically a Batman villain or not. I don't think he is. But
The Weeper?
yeah, you don't know about the Weeper?
No, I know about the Leaper, but not the Weeper.
No, yeah, the Weeper. So the Weeper is a crying themed bad guy, and there's this great episode of Bad Brain Bolt. Seriously, it's a really great one. It's they got the great Tim Conway to play the Weeper, and what the premise. And here's what's great about the episode. I've always cited this, like every time. No joke, Jacob. I've always cited this episode for why Sony was always just out of its mind for the way they tackled all the villain-led Spider-Man movies, because that episode's nailed it perfectly how you should do it.
All right.
Or honestly, with any Batman, like for example, what the Joker movie could have been, or what I'm not saying, it's a whole different ball. The point, what any villain-led movie, whether it be, especially for a Batman-centric thing, the Batman or Spider-Man or what have you, would have been what that episode did, which is basically we reversed it so we're in the villain's perspective. Like a Joker is like the lead character, and he's teaming up instead of
Joker, the Vile and the Villainous.
That's the one.
I've seen that one. Yeah, I don't remember the Weeper from that.
Yeah. So the whole thing is, it's reversed. So Joker is our lead character. Batman is the antagonist to the Joker. Not because he's actually a villain, but clearly, in opposition to the Joker, he would be seen as the villain, as the antagonistic force. And he is, he's teaming up with his early idol, the Weeper, which is, which is fun. And I'm just saying, I've always loved that reversal that we had there, and it's always felt to me like if we did that with like the Clayface movie, for example, coming up, you could reverse it where Batman is like the force coming in that could, that would kind of stop the person that we're kind of siding with right now, or at least that we've been following the whole time, even though we know they're in the wrong. Or again, Sinister Six movie, Spider-Man, not only the target, but kind of to them the antagonist. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I can see that.
Just reversing the roles.
I can kind of see that. Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, the Weeper is crying themed DC villain.
Apparently, according to the villains wiki, nemesis of Bullet Man.
There you go, Bullet Man's bad guy.
Yeah. and Brave and the Bold really did dive deep.
Well, yeah. I mean, they even had I think they had Ghost Tank. I think that was Brave and the Bold.
Brave and the Bold still continues to prove to be underrated.
Yeah.
It is kind of funny though. There is obviously being the connection there being Diedrich Bader between this show and Brave and the Bold. It is kind of funny that Diedrich's son was actually more excited for this show, despite his father also being Batman.
Yep. Does Batman work with a platypus? Well, I mean, he's worked with a chimp, but was it a platypus?
He's also worked with Scooby-Doo, but I think that was after this show. It ended already.
Yep. Yeah.
That was also a very good movie, though, too.
God, I love that movie. It was great.
It is great, yeah. I don't think it's on Max, though.
Oh, no. Highly doubtful.
Well, I can double check while we move on to the next point.
You know what they added to Max today, right?
Yeah, the day the Earth blew up.
Yeah, kids, watch it.
Yep, now Max, as we discussed yesterday on the debate, yeah, it's like now Max wants the day the Earth blew up.
It's
now
a tangled web we weave.
Exactly. Anyway, so on to the next point after this. We get to actually see the future Fireside Girls.
Yeah.
And fun, like a couple of them are voiced by the original voice actors, but Ginger's actually voiced by Ming Na. Ming Na Wen.
Which is awesome.
Which, as you know, it's like she already voices Dr. Hirano in the show, Stacy's mother,
Yeah.
and also is the mother of Ginger's current voice actress, Michaela Z. So that all worked out, and now they actually got her to do this.
I love that she's still bitter about
Mishti.
Mishti.
Yep. It's like, oh, it's like, it worked for me and Mishti. Oh, Mishti. Let it go,
Anyways,
Jin.
so Ginger is talking about manipulating the situation with Baljeet about the about picking a movie.
That's like, it's Addison's idea to manipulate the situation, but as it turns out, Baljeet's basically in on it.
It was the idea Baljeet's wise to, and he lets her do it to him just to keep the peace, which means it truly shows that Baljeet actually did learn something in the show. That's how you handle it. That's how you handle a relationship.
Yeah, it's like manipulate each other.
Well, I was less that he's not, but he just it's the whole fine. I'll let her think she's got one over me. Fine.
I think that's not always like the best the best metric for a relationship, though. not gonna.
Well, I'm not saying it's a cure-all. I'm just saying it's like it's the whole happy, it's the old happy wife, happy life kind of thing,
I kind of prefer it's happy spouse, happy house kind of thing.
All right, fine, happy spouse, happy, same difference. You know what I mean? It's like keep the other person happy.
I mean that's how it should be.
Yeah.
I mean, but they have to make each other happy.
Yeah.
That's all I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Sadly, I know who's not in this episode. Yeah, unfortunately, who's not here.
That is disappointing.
Yes. When I take a moment,
who's not in the episode?
Kelly.
I should say exactly.
Exactly. Let's take a moment to appreciate it. To appreciate her, even though she wasn't here.
It's a moment of silence because we're mourning her not being in the episode.
I know, but I don't have time to. But I'm not going to change the banner just for that. Okay, moment's over.
Yeah.
So they get the idea, and then Isabella comes by. And the girls also get the idea of getting Phineas and Isabella together for the end of before she goes off to college. So them and the boys set a plan in motion.
Yeah. You have a sign to spell it out.
Think about love.
Then we got Buford in a diaper again.
Oh God. He didn't want to do it, but he said, remember, it worked for me and Mishti. Oh, Mishti.
Yeah, meanwhile, we have the midlife crisis shenanigans.
Yep.
On Doofenshmirtz, so he's got hair dye, he's on a jet ski.
Buying a sports car.
Yep. Mobius is cheering for the jet ski.
It's yeah. He's yeah. He's or more accurately, wow.
Wow.
More accurate. That's more accurate.
Going so fast.
Wow. Oh God. Anyway. And we also get to see Nana Shapiro again, voiced by Carol Kane, once more.
Yep.
Who basically once again tells Phineas, hey, so didn't you know? Restaurants that way. Right. And probably the bravest thing that Doofenshmirtz does, hit on the instructor.
Yes, the parachuting instructor.
That's probably the most dangerous thing he does.
Yeah, the skydiving. I guess that's the skydiving instructor.
Yep.
Yep, he hits on the beautiful instructor, and he gets my favorite part of the job is doing this. He throws all the guys that hit on her, tosses them right out the plane. Which you got it. That would be it. It's a good joke. It's yeah.
Although it probably would get someone fired in real life, it is funny.
Well, still, she could take joy in just doing it. She just wouldn't be as direct about it.
Well,
yeah.
All right. So, but then basically at this point, Doof doesn't want anything to do with the Inator anymore. He just wants to He just basic.
just kind of enjoy life again.
Yep.
Is content with quiet life, and he and Barry they're getting ready to go bowling. Did you reserve the lanes? Gives him a
and
thumbs
turn
up.
and yep. So they're planning on going bowling again with Doofenshmirtz with basically everyone.
No,
Which is
Carl.
like,
Who knows who else?
yeah, who knows? But it is kind of nice though.
Yeah, and that's a place I want to leave Perry the Platypus and Doofenshmirtz. Honestly, that's a good place for him.
I mean, that's the furthest chronologically we see them.
Yep.
Is seeing them basically parachuting back to Earth, agreeing to go bowling. It's nice. It's like it reaffirms that they're still they'll still ultimately remain friends.
Jacob, do you know what time it is?
I think I do, Dragon. It's
Gritty reboot
reboot
time.
time. No, come on, kids. Dang it! The stupid loop was on. But Dragon, as you were saying,
Gritty reboot time.
Yay.
So, um, here's a deleted scene. The gritty deleted scene. It was too gritty. They had to delete it. Perry the Platypus and Doofenshmirtz, they land. And just as he's hit discontentment, the shock of the skydive, and just the shock of it all, Doofenshmirtz, he perished when he landed. It was a very dramatic moment, and Perry didn't have the paddles this time.
Oh no.
Yep, so it was a very traumatizing moment for the platypus.
Oh yeah.
And they had to cremate him, and they had to deliver the ashes to Vanessa.
Oh god.
It was just like right after Vanessa, she's had Ukrainian food, and it was like this happy moment. It's like, hello, Dad, I brought you some Ukrainian leftovers. Oh, hey, Perry, where's Dad? And they can't speak, so he just holds up the urn and says, why are you holding up that urn? Well, why are you shaking the urn? What are you trying to say? Oh God! You don't mean. He nods. Yes, he's grabbing a tissue. He walks next. He can't break it to her any further.
Oh God.
It's a heartbreaking moment.
What have we done?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we have like the spreading of the ashes in Druzelstein. And then again, here's the thing: his parents didn't come to the funeral.
Of course not.
But the ocelots did.
And now, did Roger come to the funeral?
Roger said, "Heinz who?"
Oh God.
I don't see Heinz. I don't see Heinz anywhere. My assistant said I should meet my brother in Druzelstein. I'm not seeing him, so I guess he's not here. I'm gonna go back. La di da di da.
Yeah, that sounds like Roger.
Yep.
Oh well.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Anyway.
All right. Back to lighter things.
All right, the lighter things.
So Phineas. So the friends have gathered in the backyard. They're gathering materials in the backyard one last time as they put together,
the ultimate, the way to manipulate the situation to get Phineas and Isabella to realize they're meant to be together.
If they don't, they're gonna hold up a cue card. It says love.
Think about love. They're like their favorite colors and and romantic songs that force them to think about love. And if they don't, the sign.
Yep.
And then Ferb's like, you can't really force these things. Like, yes, we can. We're girls. Oh God.
All right, so Phineas, he runs to see Isabella. Isabella off, but just misses her, and then we have Miss Garcia Shapiro, who earlier had a really wonderful goodbye with Isabella, where she like it gave her last paycheck and saw her off. It was actually a really nice scene.
Yep. She's gonna miss Isabella, obviously.
So honestly, our third here feels very, especially that goodbye, feels a lot of Toy Story 3 vibes,
Yeah,
which I appreciated.
it is nice. Yeah. And saying goodbye, and then to drive the knife in even further, Phineas comes in.
Yep.
No, not like. Oh, actually, before Phineas comes in, the song begins.
Yep.
What
Which
might
is
have
bad.
been.
All the things that could have happened.
Yeah. It's a very heart-wrenching, kind of a heart-wrenching song, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's some genuine heart to it there. It's just very, it's I love that she's kind of leaning towards the things that could have been Phineas. I mean, mind he does ultimately end there, but it's also it's the regrets over the things he didn't do.
It's like Phineas. Like the thing is, like Dan and Swampy like actually cried when when like Vincent recorded the song.
Jacob, what would that look like?
It would actually look something like this.
Now, mind you, Dan's just putting on a brave face where he's actually weeping, but that's what it looks like when he's weeping. He puts on these smiles that kind of reduce the tears, but
it's putting on a brave face.
yeah, that brave face just happens to be this, gonna look like Doofenshmirtz getting this picture taken, but yeah.
Like it was the greatest day of my life. It's the day I got my picture taken. Remember that one?
No, yeah.
It's the day I got my picture taken. So, all right. So the episode, the song begins like how Isabella might have like thought it was over him, but like having so many summers, hoping something would begin, and she drives off. Just as Phineas runs into, as Mrs. Garcia Shapiro, what's going on.
Yep, just as we're starting to play like When Somebody Loved Me, and then we're getting to the end of Toy Story 3 as a fun subversion.
Yeah.
And so thankfully, we reveal Isabella. She stopped by Phineas's house to say goodbye.
Yep. Phineas thinks he might have missed during the. Speaking of Phineas during the song, he's like, in retrospect, it was kind of obvious. Talking about like he points out like you're actually quite overt. Right?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And that's actually, and the voice he's using to sing here is actually close to Vincent's actual speaking voice.
Oh yeah.
So.
Also, we had the whole Finabella thing.
Yeah, which is the official name for the couple.
That's cute. I like that.
It is, yeah.
Sounds like Cinderella.
Yeah, it is.
It's kind of nice seeing them at the prom and the beach and all that kind of stuff, and the whole salmonella. We rhymed like salmonella.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, not an ideal situation, but
it shows like it's not all going to be rosy. Sometimes she's going to be throwing up.
Yep.
Especially if they have kids.
Yeah, which unfortunately I don't think we're ever going to see.
Well, hey, you don't know. The next time they think they're going to be canceled, they might do another flash forward.
Well, who knows? Maybe. I mean, we definitely know they get married.
Yeah.
Because remember, this episode at least confirms they start dating. In Quantum Boogaloo, remember what Amanda says? Like, and that girl looks like Aunt Isabella.
Right.
It's like, that means I'm gonna marry Phineas or Ferb.
God, I love that.
Which Candace was probably just messing with her at that point.
I don't know. What if there was some Archie switches there?
Well, based on what else we see in this episode.
Yep.
But yeah, it's like, so it definitely confirms that Isabella and Phineas at least eventually do get
Oh
married.
no, there could have been Riverdale shenanigans.
Please no. How about
Well,
we don't have? How about we don't have Riverdale
hey, we
shenanigans?
have a gritty reboot section all for that, my friend.
But Dragon, like any gritty reboot we come up with is probably better than what Riverdale did.
Well, it is. I'm just saying, literally, the origin of it is Riverdale, so that's where we get the gritty reboot from.
Oh god.
We owe a lot to Riverdale with this show.
Yep, I guess so. I never knew if that was the origin. Your origin. That was just like like the standard trend of rebooting things and
Well,
making them.
no, look, you're right. It is broadly, but like the crowning example of it is Riverdale. Like Riverdale is like the fun like marketing example of like that's exactly why we do reboots, make them all moody and teen like. But you're right. There are like there's Sabrina. There's a whole bunch of other other like gritty reboots that we do. But
I mean, and also like the comic. I mean, some of the later comics themselves, like Future Life with Archie, things like that, they did become actually quite dramatic and dark. But I guess not to the extent of being as probably better written than Riverdale is.
yeah.
So Phineas, thinking that he might have actually missed his chance, walks back home, and I like the little touch of him kind of wistfully looking at Isabella's house. you know what I mean? Just a small moment. But then he sees, but then the moving truck drives away, and he sees Isabella sitting on his front steps, and where they finally clear the air.
Yep, little nice scene where it's but them on the stoop, just kind of
This is my stoop.
Which again, I think Pavemeyer just like tip of the hat.
Yeah, this is Stoop Kid's stoop, right, Dragon?
Yep.
Anyway, it's like, so yeah,
you remember the voice Stoop Kid, don't you?
No.
Really, you don't remember?
No, I don't.
It's Jack Spicer, Evil Boy Genius.
Oh, Danny Cooksey?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Did they get him back for a Jungle movie?
Well, I don't think it is. Oh, well, actually, yeah, they did. No, they did get him back. He had one speaking. It was like one. He had the clip, I think. So that was him.
All right, so but they didn't actually bring him back into the new one. They just probably archival out.
Well, no. I'm saying he had new dialogue. I'm saying like I'm saying there was like this whole. Well, I mean, you saw the Jungle movie.
Like I said, I saw like when the first time it aired on Nickelodeon.
Yeah, so like they have this thing where they're doing a testimonial for Arnold, and basically everyone's like, I want to say Stoop Kid. There's a chance. Okay, look, there's a chance I could be misremembering because I remember Pigeon Man got a speaking role.
And the only reason he was included because Craig Bartlett wanted to dispel the thing like, Pigeon Man died.
Yeah.
The whole rumor about him dying. Like, nope, he's alive. He's not dead.
Yeah. I'd like to think, I want to say that Stoop Kid, we kind of checked in with him, like on, because he was supposed to venture around, but there's a chance he was just at the party, just kind of nodding when we said Stoop Kid. So there's a chance we had him with a line. I think we did, but there's also a good chance he was just like kind of nodding without a line. So I'm not sure.
All right. That's fair. I just didn't know that Danny Cooksey voiced him.
That he did.
Jack Spicer, Evil Boy Genius, though.
Yep.
It's like, so yeah, sitting on the porch, Phineas, Isabella, they finally clear the air. Like, it's like they said something strange that you had a crush on me. She's like, yeah, yeah, I did for many years. It's like, admitting that she gave up around high school.
That line really depresses me. I got to be honest. Like in the most heartbreaking way it's intended to. Like, oh,
yeah.
It's the fact that all this like through high school, they just I won't get into reasons why, but it does hit me where I live. And it's like, yeah, that's that.
I mean, it is kind of like a very relatable thing.
Yeah.
It's like you realize like did this person like me? Did I actually like them? Kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people go through that. You think about what might have been.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, not all of them have the happy resolution that this one does.
Oh no, heavens no.
Yep. I think I'm speaking for myself here, but from the sound of what you just said, we can both speak from personal experience on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I'm not going to pry, and I know you're not going to pry into mine, but
Yeah.
so unless you really want to, but I'm guessing from the sound of things you don't.
Mm.
I mean, you can if you want.
Nah, I just said I had an Isabella. You know, she actually, Frank, she's a lot like Isabella. Frank, you know, a little bit. You know, but anyway.
Aw.
I wasn't oblivious, though. I was stupid, but not oblivious. Anyway.
All right.
So, that's all we're going to say. We're going to move on.
Okay, wait, I'm not going to pry. But yep, so Phineas then says, like, that's about when I started to have a thing for you. And the look on Isabella's face when she says that, it's
like, yes, I've waited like 10 long years, finally.
11 if she, well, technically 11.
All right, well, yeah, 11 in a really long summer, but yeah.
Yes. Aw. It is. It's like, so she finally realizes that Phineas actually now does return her feelings. And and what about the whole situation where he accidentally gives her the wrong acceptance letter?
Okay, I thought this was hilarious. This was like this big gesture where it's just like, so where are you going to? It looks like they're going to be parted separate ways. It's all too late. And it's like, so where are you going? It says, tri-state state. Oh wait, was it tri-state state?
Yeah, she's going to tri-state state.
Yeah, she's going to tri-state state, and then says, what about you? And he says like, oh, I know where I'm going now. And he hands her the take a look for yourself. He's like, oh God, no, sorry, it's the wrong envelope. That is such a realistic thing you never see in movies, and so it's always like it goes like, you know, like, okay, we're connecting the dots. Like, yeah, what if he did hand her the wrong envelope by accident?
it's like just finally made your face like, oh, you're not going to the same college as me.
It's like, man, it's a really cruel way for you to tell me that.
Fortunately, he realized his mistake when he saw her downfall and crestfallen expression.
Now there's hope. They could be college sweethearts now.
Yeah, might not have been able to been like high school sweethearts, but they had the time for college.
Yep. Plus, they did go to Paris, you know, city of love.
It's like, you know, boy, a girl in the city of love. I thought romance would be a foregone conclusion.
Well, yeah, it just takes 11 years, but yeah.
It's like, and unlike some couples, they'll never have Paris.
Yeah.
Unless they decide to go back. Which,
yeah, just New Jersey.
Like knowing Phineas or Paris, Texas.
or Paris, Vegas.
That too. Like, I thought it was the city of airplane parts. Yep, that's right.
Depends on who you ask.
Like, and knowing Phineas, he could easily just like make a portal to Paris and they could just take her there immediately. You know, like recapture that moment.
Or you could just build Paris in the backyard.
That could probably work too. Make it like a, I don't know, miniature that they can shrink themselves down into or something like that to explore Paris.
That too.
Like, so Phineas decides to go to Tri-State State, and even Ferb's like, Tri-State State, huh? Good choice. So before we move on to the next scene, we actually kind of skipped over something. When Doofenshmirtz drops the inator, what happens?
Well, first of all, I just want to mention too. I love we call back one of the funniest visual gags that we've had in Phineas and Ferb, where it's so funny to see Perry Platypus in a sports car with Doofenshmirtz fearing for his life. It's still never not funny.
The driving test, you mean?
Yeah, just like the driving test. Just seeing again, Perry Platypus being like the cool spy, nothing ever gets him, but just seeing him like genuinely afraid for his life.
Like it does kind of call into question like that his claim to be fearless. Remember when he got hit with the fear-inator or whatever?
Yeah,
he does have one fear: being in the same car as Doofenshmirtz.
Yep. But it rarely ever happens, so he doesn't really have to be afraid. You know, I'm saying like ordinarily I think it's the exception because it's only happened like twice ever.
That we know of.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, but it is kind of nice how Doofenshmirtz just like he's really like, I'm actually just content with my regular life with my friends. It is also kind of nice to how he refers to like Carl, Perry, and everyone else as his friends.
Yeah.
And so he drops the necklace.
And lands smack dab on Lawrence. And now has a midlife crisis, which admittedly he looks so deranged.
It's like, Linda, darling, I know not to come over me, but I'm starting to get the most wild and uninhibited ideas. You know, every day for the last 20 years I've relaxed with a nice cup of Earl Grey. Well, not today, Linda. Today I'm pulling out all the stops. Darjeeling. You are a madman.
God, Linda's delivery. Okay, I do have a complaint. I feel that we didn't age Lawrence and Linda up at all.
Yeah, it's like Doofenshmirtz, at least his hair changed.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's 10 years. Like even the anything like really just exactly the same. Like literally every other character got an update. Okay, Perry doesn't count. Every other character got an update.
I don't know. Maybe they just didn't want to do it for that brief gag. I mean, unless you count like Lawrence's more deranged look, which doesn't really count. Which really doesn't really count, I guess.
Yeah. By the way, just again, like so Lawrence is gonna be sucking down Darjeeling.
Yeah, that's his midlife crisis, and the fact that he had it prepared, like he knew what would happen the moment he had a midlife crisis.
Well, that's how it works.
Like and apparently, so Dragon don't like. Yeah, he knew his midlife crisis would be just Darjeeling.
Yep.
And Linda doesn't even seem phased by it. It's like, you are a madman.
Well, she is phased. That's her phased face.
Yeah, but she's probably just seen so many, or just been through so much in this amount of time. She just like barely registers.
Yeah.
And so,
Oh, I got a fan theory for you.
All right, lay it on me.
Well, I don't know how well it works. I was gonna say I think Candace convinced Linda one time without having to show the evidence that she was able to bust the boys, and that's what motivated her to become a lawyer.
Well, I mean, or maybe that's or maybe like maybe that's the genesis of her thesis.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, since she now can't actually bust the boys. But it is kind of nice to see that she's doing well for herself, at least.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so after Ferb congratulates Phineas on his choice, and Isabella drives off. Like, they hold hands, they blush, she drives off. So, but someone else comes into the picture.
Mm-hmm.
As Ogdai goes, so this scene.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's saying that as a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm choosing to read it as a certain way. So, we have Vanessa,
all grown up,
and Dragon
dating Ferb. Like, yes, finally.
Yep. What did I tell you, Dragon?
Yeah. So we this is just perfect. And Vanessa's never looked better. She's with Ferb. She's driving the car. She's picking him up. It's like, we finally shipped them, and it worked.
Yep. It's Vanessa and Ferb. Dan, did you hear how she calls him Ferbs?
Mm-hmm, which is adorable.
Which is apparently his real name.
Wait, what?
Dan confirmed that's Ferb's real name. It's just Ferbs. I'm here you go. Or do you want this one?
Dan. Swampy. Ferbs? Look, that's a cute pet name. You can't canonically say Ferbs is his real name. Why the whole time? Why would Phineas just call him Ferb when it should be Ferbs? That makes no sense.
Yep.
It's dumb.
It is.
Just dumb.
It's not really confirmed in the show itself, but Dan basically said
Oh,
that.
but you're darn right it's not confirmed in the show because it doesn't make a lick of sense. That's why.
But Dan basically said, like, "Yep, that's his name."
I think he had heat stroke.
Yeah.
Just
All right.
being silly.
It is. I do like that personally. I think it does work better as a nickname.
Yeah, as a nickname, it's great.
But and yep, Ferb and Vanessa. Admittedly, there is an age gap there, but I don't think it's too bad. They're only like 5 years apart or so. Maybe like less than 10 years apart.
I don't think there's a problem with it. Plus, it means Vanessa, so I mean, no complaints.
Yep. Consider it. Yep. I love this scene.
I know, look, there's nothing wrong with an older woman. Let's just say that too. Okay,
I don't have the slice idea of when they got together, but I still love it. Yeah, I do. I don't have a problem with it myself. Like, I mean,
chemistry was like them. It works.
I mean, as long as it was like, as long as, I mean, there's probably some logistics that they'd have to explain for it to actually work, but
Yep.
but
I'm just drawn to him because his head looks like my father's building. I love that building. I have so many nostalgic and fond memories of my father, and associating that in like a weird electric complex with Ferb's head.
Imagine if the two of them got together like the previous day. They're awfully close for having to being together get the previous day.
They've they've been an item. But here's I think they've. I'm going to go as far as they've probably secretly been an item for a while. Look, honestly, I think Phineas. I don't think it's actually a secret, but I could see like Ferb is keeping that on the down low.
Well, and Vanessa seems to be integrated because Phineas even calls her Nessa.
Oh, there you go. So there's not a secret at all.
Yep. And so I was like, is there any? We're about to go to get Ukrainian food. Is there anything else? Is there anything? Want you to go?
So it's nice to know things worked out 10 years from now.
Yep. So can we drop you off anywhere?
Wait a minute. I just realized something.
Yeah.
Things didn't work out at all. 10 years from now is 10 years from. Well, wait a minute. When? Okay, remind. What was the year on season 4 of Phineas and Ferb? Like when it all ended. What was the year?
The year was debuted in 2015.
2015. Oh.
And so it is 10 years.
Well, it's nice to know things work out in a year from now.
Yep. Oh, actually, it'd be this year.
Well, I was saying, if it's 11 years. Oh, wait, no, you're right. They said 10 years. Okay, so, yeah, 10. Okay, so I think we're in the clear, folks. I think by the end of the year, we should be good. At least by the end of the summer, we should be good, according to this episode.
Yep. Like, if Isabella came over for 11 years, the episode takes place 10 years in the future.
Oh, you're right. But, yeah, so they're, this is a good, hopefully a good prediction for how things are going to turn out. That, we can get Ukrainian food.
And so far, apparently, it implies that she does eventually break up with Monty.
Yeah.
I did kind of tease you throughout this, like, wait, is she going to get with Monty or?
And there's a question.
But then I was like, no, she doesn't get together with. Although I was like, she doesn't get together with Monty.
There's the Archie spinoff I want to see. I want to see, Vanessa having to choose between Monty and Ferb. Let's do the reverse Archie on that one. Again, both very compelling in very different ways. Monty has an advantage, but
And Ferb looks like her father's building.
But then that's ultimately what wins out on all daddy issues. That's what wins out.
So
remember, kids, daddy issues always wins out.
So
Spielberg made a career on it.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. So can we drop you off anywhere? As a matter of fact. And so they pull up to Isabella's car. Phineas gets out, runs up to her window. What are you doing? This.
It's nice that it's kind of an answer almost to what you're doing.
Yep. And of course, as we all know, and anticipated, Dragon, why don't you lead us into it?
Oh well. First off, we have I just want we have the kiss between them.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, here we go.
Yep, they make some kissy face.
Yep.
Isn't that cute? Look at that?
And the dramatic orchestration of Isabella's usual theme,
Yep,
which is adorable.
yep. It's let's go back to the kiss for a second.
All right.
Again, it's great. But he is look. It's the implausibility of how this guy can kiss anyone because he has to be at an angle for this to work, and not even just like an angle, like an average kiss. I'm saying he's for this to work, it has to be like the shapes intersecting.
He's a triangle. She's a semicircle. It works out, I guess. I mean,
It's like
neither of their faces are ideal for this.
that's what I'm saying. It's such a cheat, but it's an earned cheat. It's like a 10. It feels like 10 years. It was like a 4-year kind of cheat.
And remember, like the other times, like they kiss in like across a second dimension, and even in Star Wars, they kind of cheated the angle a little bit, and
It's always a cheat.
And in across the second dimension, it was more like a like she had literally like forced his nose up and puckered his lips.
Yeah.
This is their first real kiss.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's a very nice moment. Honestly, look, and also, I love the romance of this, where it's like, well, wait a minute. The implications that I don't know if the implications that Phineas is just going to walk back home, or if he's just going to he's going to head to the college with her early, and then he'll either improvise from there, or he'll then have his stuff sent, or he'll just he'll stick around, then he'll go back and get his stuff and come back. I don't know.
Or you could say this:
We don't care.
Exactly, it's not important. It's a nice thought that it's like, hey, he's good. Let me kiss the girl and maybe just like go with her on this adventure, maybe.
I think what Awkward Ted here says, like, I think true love outweighs the geometric improbability here.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep, love
it makes it hard any way to slice it.
Love finds a way.
Yeah.
It's like I never knew she had a thing for him. Seriously? Nah, I'm just messing with you. Everyone knew. Even Vanessa knew that.
Of course.
I think the entire city of Danville knew that.
Yes, everyone but Phineas knew.
Probably like every single person in Danville knew. It's like even you ask Doofenshmirtz, it's like, yeah, I knew she definitely had the crush on you.
So he goes to Tri-State State and he says, "Oh, I'm sorry, we have to revoke your application." Why? Well, literally every single person in the Tri-State area. The tri-state area knew about the relationship, but what if it was something important? What if you're going to overlook details? What if we have what if you do architecture for a couple or something? What are you going to do? You're going to miss all these pertinent details because you can't pick up on subtleties. Get out of here, Triangle.
The entire tri-state area knew.
Yep.
And then
literally everybody knew.
Everybody knows. Yeah. It's like you ask a random Joe Schmo on the street who don't even know who Phineas is, like do these two, does she have a crush on him? Yep. Does he know about it? Nope.
The farmer and the entrepreneur and the wife, did you know? Yes.
Yep, they both knew. Everyone knows.
Even Klimpalun, the magical old-timey bathing suit.
That lives in the Himalayas.
He knew.
And you know who else who knows?
Who else knows?
The inexplicable giant floating baby head. Even it knew.
Also, the zebra that calls Candace Kevin.
Yep. Yep, you're right. It did.
Yep. Anyway, so while we have kind of our kiss go on here, then we have just the happy tears of a Swampy.
Yeah. Elizabeth Bill says that was worth the wait. Yes. Yes, it was.
Sorry, it was a perfect line. It's like, yes, it was.
And they kiss again, which is it's a nice way to this is the furthest we see Phineas and Ferb. Like obviously we don't see them in the adult cells in Quantum Boogaloo. So as far as Phineas and Ferb goes, this is the farthest we've seen them. And it's a nice way to end things out with them, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, just you. What do the Almighties have to say on this, Jacob?
Well, I was like, I can't believe it. It seems like yesterday you were just drawing doodles of these kids on that, like, yeah, because Phineas was like first drawn on a piece of butcher paper that Dan drew on.
Yeah.
It's like I've told you that story. He basically drew a triangle shaped kid on a piece of butcher paper. It's like, Swampy, we have our show.
Yep.
It's like, I'm willing to bet the people from Milo Murphy's Law knew about it. Yep, most likely. So it's like Dan's trying to console Swampy while he's sobbing uncontrollably.
I just love that the Swampy they're both proud papas, but just Swampy is just he cannot contain just how satisfied and happy he is, and just like put it into the whole the will they won't they.
And then he's like, oh, they're all grown up.
Yep, their babies are grown up and they're realizing it's the end of the show.
And Dan's like, I got a thing. I'm gonna.
Oh no! Well, we forgot the best line, Jacob. It's just like it's just a cartoon.
It's just a cartoon.
Which reminds me a little bit of take it easy. It's just a drawing.
Yep, good pull.
Yep. Anyway, so then I got a thing to do. He just leaves Swampy to cry all throughout the credits.
Yep. Oh yeah. And of course, near with all of that, at the end, get a grip, Swampy. Get a grip, Swampy.
Get a grip, Swampy.
Like, Dan, it's not just a cartoon. Actually, yeah.
Like Jorgen from the God, I'm bringing that. No, I know it's from Fairly Odd Parents. I'm saying it's from the American Idol inspired
Fairy Idol.
Fairy Idol. In the Fairy Idol one, we had the musical where we had Cosmo and Wanda having their love ballad thing.
Wait, that's a different one. That's School's Out the Musical.
Wait, you sure? Well, I know that's also a musical, but I'm saying that the Fairy Idol is also a musical. I'm trying to remember which one has the Cosmo and Wanda song. I think it's Fairy Idol.
Are you talking about the one where it talks about their history, like where Cosmo works in a diner and things like that?
Yeah, that's the one. So is
that School's Out the Musical?
Okay, School's Out. Forget the other one then. So School's Out the Musical reminds me of the moment Jorgen where he's listens to all, he's just crying like, how did they even do the thing with the thumbprints?
Yep, that's School's Out.
Yeah,
it was love. Fairy Idol has Diana DeGarmo. Yep.
Yep. Diana DeGarmo.
Yep. She's my boo.
Oh, I love that. She's actually a really good singing voice too.
Yep. And that's how Cosmo sang as her.
Which is just funny.
Yep. And that's a good song too. That's like the ending of the end of one of the original runs too.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it didn't have Norm Macdonald returning to voice.
Yeah, that was the bummer.
But I think the guy they got sounded enough like him.
That was okay.
No Norm Macdonald, but
yeah.
But yeah, so Swampy needs to get a grip. Poor guy. Yeah. But Dragon, that does kind of remind me. Earlier today, I showed you a video that Dan uploaded earlier this week, where people ask him what happens if they have a disagreement.
They go outside and
Dan Dan replaces him with the nearest chicken.
Using the chicken Recap-inator.
Yep. Yep. So I wonder if that happened at the end of this episode. Swampy, Dan had his thing back, found Swampy still crying, told him to get a grip. Swampy didn't listen. Took him outside and replaced him with the nearest chicken.
No, that's just, come on. It's not a disagreement. They're not having an argument.
Well, who knows? Maybe this is where it began.
No.
Oh, come on. You can do all your gritty reboot stuff. Let me have my thing.
Look, you can have your thing. I thought you were asking me. If you're asking me, it's like, I don't know.
Yep. So, anyway. So, yeah. Well, Dragon, I think we're done with Act Your Age.
Are you sure?
Yes,
It's over?
Unfortunately, yes. Yes, I am.
But they just got together.
Yep, I know. And as much as I would like to see,
Even Ferb and Vanessa got together.
Yeah, I know. I mean, don't get me wrong, Dragon. I wish we would see more of them in the future, but as of now, this is it.
Okay.
Trust me, Dragon. I want to see that as much as you do.
We've seen them grow up so much.
Yep. And folks, this is the penultimate episode from the original run too.
One more.
Yep. So this episode does resonates with me quite a bit. It's the culmination of basically a lot of 4 years wondering of this many years, like wondering will they or won't they, finally figuring out that it takes 10 years, but yes, they do. Yes, they do. I'm surprised Jeremy wasn't even. Yeah, that is kind of a downside.
That is a good point.
Yeah. We don't see Jeremy, Stacy. We only see Candace briefly. It is kind of sad. So, I think that does it for this week. Diane, you personally said you really liked this episode as well, right?
Yeah, that was great.
Yep. So I just want to thank Aquatad, Claude, Code Geass, and even Little Blue briefly. So for joining us this evening, and join us next week for the last day of summer. Good night, everybody.
It's just a cartoon.